so many people feeling anxious. That's kind of the term that we've seen the most on social media. I'm feeling anxious because there's never been so much unanswered questions about, I think, all of our futures, finances, jobs, when we get to leave our homes, when things go back to normal. How are you finding peace in that right now?
Oh man, it's crazy because I'm already anxious anyway. I get anxious about weird things. I get anxious like going into a large group of people. You know what I mean? That sounds like strange. Chill. Yeah, I know. That's because I've had some days off, man. It's been awesome, dude. And
we're seeing the best version of Mike.
And because of this too, because Philippians 4, 6, and 7, I love this. So it's frustrating to me because when I am feeling anxious, this word says to me, be anxious for nothing, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, that's great if you can do that or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, when God gives us a command in his word, it's because he's going to back it up with his ability to carry it out. And he shares with us how to do it. So be anxious for nothing, but in everything, with prayer, supplication, which is asking God for help, with thanksgiving, bring your requests to God, and then the peace of God will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. And so, man, I'm just, the truth is, on my own, I really can't not be anxious. Mm-hmm. But if I am participating in the promises of God, he tells me what to do, bring all my cares to him, with thanksgiving. That's an important part. And then he's going to bring the peace. He's going to be the one. His peace is going to guard my heart. His peace is going to guard my mind. That's what I've been experiencing as long as I'm willing to engage with him on that level, and that really is my choice in the matter. And so that's where I'm finding it, man.
Thank you for explaining that, because I've heard that verse so many times. CJ, you probably have too. And I've never thought about how it's not just like you can give up the anxiety and get the peace and it's some kind of simple interaction. There are steps in between that God offers us as like, this is what you do. This is how you get there. This is how you participate.
When you're stressed and you're riddled with anxiety.
Yeah.
When do you, at your stage in life, do you automatically take that leap? Like, I need to get in the word, or I need to get on my knees, or does the humanality element, do you tend to put it off? I need to do that today, do that tomorrow. What does that look like for you as a person specifically?
Honestly, I wish I could tell you that I did, man. But actually, the first part is I freak out for a while until I don't know what I'm going to do about it, right? Same. And then usually the freak out is what reminds me, and the desperation to get out of the freak out is what pushes me into God and pushes me into the place where I do know it's, the Lord for me is tried and true. His word is tried and true for me. We've been through some garbage, man. We've been through some yuck. That's where this gray hair comes from right here. It's not like, it's like looking at you. But that's where that comes from, is from going through it, experiencing that anxious thing, and that's the thing. When he goes, don't be anxious for anything, that's because we're probably anxious.
Yeah, he knows.
It's because that really is a reality. We've been going through some stuff. And so, yeah, everybody deals with it. And in fact, in our culture right now, I feel like there's as much of an epidemic of that as any other kind of virus that there is. You know what I mean? I hear people all the time dealing with anxiety, being on a medication for anxiety, being on a medication or some kind of treatment for depression or something like that. We're being bombarded in our emotions all the time, and that's a real thing. And we don't talk about that kind of stuff in church a lot. But our pastor we go to Joy Church out in Mount Juliet.
I love the name of that church.
I do too. It's your church, Joy. You belong there. What? You belong there with us. But he was just breaking down Psalm 91 for us. And he was sharing about the promises of God. And he's sharing about that God also gives some things in there that we need to do, So instead of just freaking out, we're bringing it to the Lord, right? In Philippians 4, 6, and 7, bring it to the Lord, our request to the Lord, our asking for help to the Lord with thanksgiving. And he says, then the peace of God is going to come, So I think in this time when we've got some time to be a little introspective, yes. we can take it to the Lord and learn what that means while we're sitting in our houses, potentially freaking out, we can learn how to bring those things to God and then say, God, it's my choice right now to thank you, to bring these things to you with thanksgiving, because there's an acknowledgement of who he is in thanking him, Yeah. And then a peace comes, man. And the peace is, I'm telling you, it's beyond all understanding. It really is true. It really is real. Yeah. Thank God for his peace.